There are days when you don't say a word, but your silence is louder than a scream. You move through the world with a face that looks fine, but inside there's chaos tearing at your insides. You laugh when needed, nod when expected, and keep going like nothing's wrong. But the truth is, your mind has been dragging you through hell. It replays every failure, every betrayal, every mischance like a cruel film. You can't pause, and somewhere along the way, you started believing it. Believing the voice that says you're not enough, that you're stuck, that you'll never crawl out of this hole. This is more than overthinking. This is mental warfare, and no one sees it but you. But that ends today. This message is for the ones who are done pretending, for the ones pulled under by their own thoughts, for those who are ready to burn the lies and rise with unshakable strength. If that's you, listen closely. These are the 5 Stoic secrets to destroy negative thinking forever. 1. Emotional pain isn't proof that you're weak or broken. It's a message, brutal, loud, and merciless, but a message nonetheless. And if you're strong enough to listen, if you're disciplined enough to lean in instead of running, it will show you what no one else can. Most people treat pain like an enemy. They flinch, they flee, they numb it with distractions, silence it with entertainment, drown it with addictions, and mask it with shallow affirmations. But pain is not the enemy. Pain is the truth teller. It is your mind and soul refusing to stay quiet any longer. It's your inner world throwing fire signals into your consciousness, saying something is wrong, something is off, something must change. The Stoics knew this well. Marcus Aurelius did not write about life from some safe balcony above the chaos. He wrote from the center of war, from grief, from heartbreak, from nights where sleep would not come. And in those writings, he reminds us, pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And that estimate, that interpretation, that story, you control it. That is the power. That is the edge. That is where transformation begins. The ache in your chest, the sting behind your eyes when you think of what was lost, the fury that tightens your jaw when you remember the betrayal. That's not weakness. That's your soul demanding truth. It's not trying to ruin you. It's trying to awaken you. It's trying to force a confrontation you've delayed for too long. Every time you ignore that message, every time you pretend to be okay when you're not, every time you bottle the emotion and call it strength, you deepen the wound. You teach yourself to lie. You trade healing for performance. And one day, that mask you wear will become so heavy, it will break you. That's not the Stoic path. Stoicism is not suppression. It is clarity. It is not cold detachment. It is courageous self-honesty. You face the pain. You study it. You ask it what it wants from you. What is this grief trying to teach me? What part of my identity is this suffering trying to destroy so something stronger can take its place? Because pain always carries a blueprint. Inside every heartbreak is a lesson in boundaries. Inside every betrayal is a warning about trust. Inside every failure is the raw material of growth. But you only get that blueprint if you're willing to look pain in the eye and say, "I'm not afraid of you. Teach me." That is how the Stoic uses suffering, not to become hardened and bitter, but to become sharper, wiser, and more dangerous in the face of chaos. And here's what most will never understand. Your pain is not just something to survive. It's something to master. It's the chisel in the hand of life, shaping you into someone unstoppable. Let it cut. Let it carve. But do not let it define you. You are not the story of what was done to you. You are not the echo of the people who left. You are not the failure, the almost, the forgotten. You are the one who kept going. You are the one who felt everything and still stood tall. And that makes you rare. That makes you resilient. That makes you a threat to every lie the world and your own mind have ever tried to sell you. So stop burying your pain. Stop silencing your soul. And stop apologizing for feeling what needs to be felt. The pain you carry is not your enemy. It is your invitation to rise, to evolve, to rebuild, not from comfort, but from fire. Let it burn away who you were. Let it reveal who you must become. And then, like tempered steel, walk forward, not untouched, but unshaken. That is how you destroy negative thinking. That is how you reclaim your mind. That is how you become the storm they never saw coming. 2. Stop asking for peace in a battlefield you refuse to leave. You can't beg for calm while entertaining chaos. You can't ask the storm to be still while you dance in its center. This is the hard truth. Most people avoid. Your mind is not at war because life is unfair. Your mind is at war because you keep returning to the very environments, relationships, habits, and patterns that ignite the fire. You say you want peace, but you sleep next to chaos. You open your phone to drama. You open your heart to people who drain you. And then you wonder why your soul feels heavy, why your focus is shattered, why your thoughts are loud and hostile. The answer isn't mystery, it's strategy. And the strategy is simple. Withdraw from the war zones that no longer serve your evolution. That means distancing yourself not just from people who disrespect you, but from ideas, routines, and habits that chip away at your center. Peace doesn't visit the undisciplined. It doesn't grow in polluted soil. It doesn't survive in minds that entertain conflict as comfort. The Stoics never waited for peace to arrive. They created it from the inside out. Marcus Aurelius retreated daily into the fortress of his own mind. He wasn't hiding, he was sharpening, because he knew that clarity is not found in the noise. It's found in the silence you must fight to protect. Every minute you spend arguing with people who don't hear you, proving yourself to those who don't value you, or explaining your soul to those who profit from your confusion, you lose. You lose energy. You lose focus. And slowly, you lose yourself. Peace doesn't ask for attention. It doesn't raise its voice. It doesn't chase you. It waits in the places you've been avoiding: solitude, stillness, boundaries. But to reach it, you must make a hard decision. You must detach not as an act of cruelty, but as a strategy of survival. If you keep feeding the very things that exhaust you, then exhaustion becomes your new normal. If you keep romanticizing dysfunction, then you'll keep confusing chaos for passion. If you keep holding on to people who leave you feeling smaller, more anxious, more confused, then peace will remain a distant idea, never a reality. And here's what they won't tell you. Sometimes the path to peace means being misunderstood. It means letting people believe what they want. It means walking away not because you're weak, but because you're finally strong enough to stop bleeding for those who enjoy watching you suffer. The Stoic doesn't seek peace in the approval of others. He finds it in the consistency of his discipline and the purity of his focus. He doesn't justify his silence, he masters it. He doesn't explain his distance, he honors it. So ask yourself, what are you still clinging to that disturbs your mind? What rooms are you sitting in out of habit, not alignment? What voices are you still listening to that do not echo your truth? It's time to stop asking the battlefield to be quiet. It's time to leave it. It's time to stop hoping that the world will calm down and start building your own stillness. Protect your peace like your life depends on it, because it does. Your sanity, your strength, your sense of self, they all live or die depending on what you allow into your space. So choose wisely, choose with force, choose with finality, detach with grace, not bitterness, move with clarity, not apology. And once you do, you'll discover something rare, a silence that empowers, a solitude that heals, a presence that doesn't beg or prove but simply is, and that, above all, is what makes you untouchable, calm, controlled, unshaken, a fortress in the flesh. That is the power of walking away. That is the strength of self-respect. That is the peace you were born to build. And no one gives it to you. You claim it with every boundary you enforce and every battle you refuse to fight. 3. Kill the inner narrator that keeps you small. It's not the world that stops most people. It's the voice in their head. The one that wakes up with you before dawn. The one that questions your every move. Not with rage, but with quiet doubt. It doesn't yell. It doesn't need to. It waits. It lurks. It speaks with your voice. But its words are poisoned. It tells you you're not ready, that others are more gifted, that failure is inevitable, that trying is pointless. And because it sounds like you believe it. You accept it as fact when it's nothing more than a lie dressed in your tone. That inner narrator is not your intuition. It's not your wisdom. It's your cage. And you've been feeding it for years. Every time you backed down from something hard, every time you told yourself, not now, every time you avoided the risk and chose comfort, that voice got stronger. It grew roots. And now it runs through your thoughts like a parasite, scripting your story in fear, hesitation, and retreat. But here is the truth, a truth the Stoics understood and lived by. You are not that voice. You are the one who hears it. You are the one who decides what stays and what gets cut out. Marcus Aurelius didn't become one of the greatest emperors in history by listening to doubt. He became that man by mastering it, by recognizing that the mind, left untrained, will sabotage everything it touches. He said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That power begins when you silence the false narrator, not with rage, but with evidence, not with fantasy, but with discipline. Every time the voice whispers, "You can't," you respond with action. Every time it says, "You're not good enough," you show up anyway. You don't try to silence it through positive thinking. You drown it in proof, in effort, in cold, consistent action. This is not about pretending to be confident. This is about becoming undeniable. It's about building such a powerful internal voice, anchored in clarity, grounded in mission, that no whisper of doubt can compete. You train that voice like a weapon. You speak to yourself with authority, not empty hype, not fake bravado, but calm, controlled certainty. You remind yourself every day who you are, what you're capable of, and what you're becoming. And when the old narrator tries to return, when it tries to reclaim its throne in your mind, you don't argue, you override it. You replace it with the voice of your higher self, the disciplined self, the sovereign self, and you do it without mercy. Because here's the reality: if you do not take control of your internal narration, someone or something else will, and it will shape your choices, your identity, and your future. But if you do take control, if you become the one who commands your thoughts with precision and strength, then there is nothing you cannot build, overcome, or become. The Stoic doesn't leave his inner voice to chance. He engineers it. He carves it from truth. He refines it through fire. And when the world gets loud, when the pressure builds, when everything around him begins to shake, he listens only to that one voice inside. Calm, focused, decisive. And because of that, he does not break. He does not fold. He does not get lost. He stands, silent, ready, and completely in control. That is how you kill the narrator. That is how you reclaim your power. That is how you lead yourself first in thought, then in life. You're not behind. You're being forged. The world will try to convince you that success is a race that if you're not achieving quickly, loudly, and visibly, then you're somehow losing. But that belief is not truth. It's noise. It's distraction. It's a trap designed to keep you comparing, doubting, and rushing. The Stoic sees through this illusion. He knows that strength built in silence is stronger than validation earned in applause. You may look at others and feel like they're advancing faster, getting promoted, building families, launching businesses, earning recognition while you're still in the shadows, still struggling, still questioning your path. But what they have in speed, you are gaining in depth. What they have in visibility, you are building in endurance. And what you are creating inside, through your pain, your silence, your steady self-mastery, will outlast the surface victories that disappear as fast as they arrive. This moment you're in the frustration, the delays, the invisible battles is not a detour. It is the training ground, the furnace, the forge, where most break under pressure. You are being hardened by it. Where most seek comfort, you are learning to find control. Where most crumble from the weight of failure, you are using that same weight to strengthen your foundation. Marcus Aurelius didn't talk about destiny as something given. He spoke of it as something earned through character, through endurance, through discipline under fire. He didn't complain about the path. He sharpened himself within it. And you must do the same. When you feel like you're stuck, remind yourself you are not buried. You are being planted. And in time, you will grow beyond what anyone thought possible. You don't become powerful by skipping the process. You don't become grounded by running from the grind. You become a weapon by being shaped through struggle, by enduring what others avoid. That is the nature of true transformation. Not quick, not easy, but absolute. And every day you stay committed when no one's watching. Every time you choose focus over comfort. Every time you take one more step instead of giving in, that is your forge. That is your moment. That is your silent ascent. So when your mind tells you you're falling behind, speak back with calm defiance. I'm not behind. I'm being forged. Let that become your creed. Let it echo in your discipline. Let it shape your presence. And understand this: when your time comes, When the fire has stripped away the soft parts and revealed your core, the world will take notice, not because you shouted, not because you demanded attention, but because your strength will be undeniable. The ones who rushed will fade. The ones who performed will vanish. But you, the one who built in silence, you will endure. You will move through life with a presence that commands respect without asking. You will speak little and carry weight. You will not chase influence. You will embody it. And you will realize the truth. The Stoic path was never about being fast. It was about being ready. And now, you are. 5. Your mind is not a mirror. It is a weapon. And like any weapon, it must be forged, sharpened, and wielded with precision. The soft lie you were told is that your mind simply reflects the world around you, that it reacts, absorbs, and mirrors whatever happens outside. But that's a myth for the weak. The truth is harder. Your mind does not reflect. It interprets. It rewrites. It distorts. And if it's untrained, it becomes a traitor that whispers fear in your own voice and chains you with your own thoughts. Most people never notice. They walk through life believing their mind is showing them reality, when in truth, it's showing them a twisted lens shaped by childhood wounds, unresolved guilt, past rejection, and emotional scars they've never faced. That voice telling you you're not good enough, it sounds like you, but it isn't. It's the sum of every insecurity you've swallowed, and every fear you've allowed to grow unchecked. Your mind has power, but untrained. It will use that power to paralyze you. It will feed you doubt in the moments you most need certainty. It will replay failure when you're trying to rise. It will project catastrophe when you're about to take your next step. And if you keep treating your mind like a mirror, you'll keep living as a slave to its distortions. But if you understand that your mind is a weapon, then you will learn to wield it, not obey it. Marcus Aurelius knew this when he said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." That wasn't poetry. It was a warning, because every thought you entertain stains you. Every loop of fear, every echo of regret, every comparison, every mental replay they soak into you. They shape how you walk, how you speak, how you see yourself and the world. And if you're not careful, they become your identity. Look at your actions. Look at the life you're living. Every outcome is the fruit of a thought that came before it. You didn't just randomly end up where you are. You were guided there by the mental patterns you allowed to take root. And if those patterns were built on weakness, avoidance, and fear, then your reality will reflect that. Until you break the cycle, you don't break it with positive affirmations. You break it with mental discipline. You take the voice that says, "I can't," and replace it with action. You take the thought that says, "I'm not ready," and walk forward anyway. You don't wait to feel better. You train your mind to be better. You don't negotiate with your fear. You override it. You don't ask for peace. You earn it through mastery, through repetition, through silence, through action. A Stoic doesn't wait for clarity. He creates it. He does not retreat into emotion. He stands tall in reason. When the mind begins to slip, he grabs it by the throat and pulls it back into discipline. He doesn't spiral, he sharpens. He doesn't drown in his own stories. He rewrites them with blood, sweat, and focused breath. That is the path. Cold, clear, intentional. You are not your past. You are not the lies your mind repeats in quiet moments. You are the one who decides what gets built in your head. So, build a fortress, build a command center, build a mind that slices through illusion and sees the battlefield for what it is. And when life hits you, when doubt creeps in, when your thoughts begin to slip back into the old familiar poison, remember this: you were never supposed to be a mirror. You were meant to be the fire behind your own eyes, the calm in your own storm, the master of your own mind. So stand up, sharpen your weapon, and walk forward with silence, steel, and strategy. Now you know the truth. Negative thinking isn't something you cure with a smile or suppress with distraction. It's something you destroy with discipline, with clarity, with force. Your mind was never meant to be a prison. It was built to be a weapon. And that weapon, once trained, once sharpened through silence, strategy, and relentless self-control, becomes your greatest ally. This is the Stoic path, not one of passivity, but of power, not avoidance, but confrontation. You don't run from the fire, you walk into it. You don't escape your thoughts, you command them. And when the world tries to shake you, when fear rises, when chaos surrounds you, you don't flinch. You stand calm, still, centered, because you've done the work. You've cut out the noise. You've faced the pain. And now you rise not as a victim of thought, but as the master of it. So if something inside you stirred today, don't let it fade. Carry it. Build with it. Let it fuel your next move. Speak less. Train more. Make silence your ally and presence your answer. And when people ask you what changed, tell them nothing. You just remembered who you are. And who you are is unshakable. Now, go and move like it.